Hi everyone, this is going to be the pre-lab for Lab 6, part 1 of the fMRI labs. I'm just going to go over the setup real quick. So just like last time, we're going to have a zip file to download that's going to have our data and scripts in it. One quick thing to note is it's going to come as one folder, but you're going to want to unzip it to two folders on your desktop. So we're going to have this JSPM and then this data folder. And then just like last time, how we set our path, we're going to set our path to the JSPM view, and then we're gonna be working out of our data folder like we were working out of the CD 2010 folder. So once you have that set up, we are going to type into the command window JSPM underscore view, and that is going to pull up this other window, and we're going to be mostly working with this for the lab. So we're going to do load images, and then we're gonna select that one out of the our folder. And you're gonna see these are some structural MRI. We're gonna have the three different views: the transverse, sagittal, and horizontal. Um, yeah. So we're going to want to switch this to be on just because it automatically flips it from left to right in the file. So this will make it kind of easier for us to look at. And then we're going to want to turn crosshairs on. And you can see as I click around in one of them, it'll move the locations in the other. So this way you can kind of navigate like exactly where you want to go in the XYZ direction and have like all of the different views. Um, we're also going to um, overlay this structural map, and we are going to set a positive threshold, if I can find it here, of 2.36. And that's just going to correspond to basically a significance level of zero point zero 0.05 for P. 36. And you can see the voxels where, and then we have to put our crosshairs back on. You can see the voxels where there's a significant difference are going to be at a 0.05 level are going to be lit up in orange or red. So go ahead and take a minute to find some of those areas, write down their coordinates, and write down where they correspond to. After we do that, we are going to end up getting a text file that corresponds to some of the data we were just looking at in our Finder. Um, Desktop, oops, data. We're going to get this text document, and you can see it is from when we were just working. Go ahead and open that up in Excel. We'll do more with that on the actual lab day, but basically we're going to be able to kind of look at each of the individual voxels. Now, one thing to note is that, right, we were doing a P of 0.05, right? So 5% chance of a false positive. And we're working with almost 500,000 voxels. So we have a pretty high likelihood of having a false positive there. So we're going to go ahead and adjust our positive threshold to 4.03, which increases our type 1 error rate to be 1 in 200. But still note that that gives us a pretty high number of voxels that could be significant just by raw odds. And then we're going to do the same thing with our text file and look at kind of each individual voxel and see how many are significant. Now, one other way we can protect ourselves against false positives, type 1 errors like this, is to require there to be a minimum cluster size. So if we go ahead and put that map back over, keep our positive threshold at 4.03, and then change our cluster size to be 34. It explains in the instructions why we end up choosing this number. But if we do that, basically what it's saying is we need 34 voxel, like adjacent voxels, to be significant for us to be like, yeah, this is a significant region. So that way you can't have just like one like really small voxel that's like lighting up kind of by chance or having like a difference by chance. So it lets us kind of focus in on more actual like kind of like structural, like functional regions, as opposed to just like maybe like some neurons that like, like a few kind of neurons that are like spuriously showing up like this. So we're going to go ahead and use these results from the clustering regions of interest analysis for our results for the rest of the lab. And then the last thing we're going to do for this lab, part one of the fMRI lab, is we're going to, now that we've done the clustering and kind of identified more functional regions of interest, we're going to look for the hippocampus, and we're going to look for this fusiform face area. And you guys are going to discuss in your labs kind of why we might see or might not see activation in these areas.